Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio, and we have just had quite the news dump for Pokemon Sword and Shield. People were thinking, oh, are we going to get Gen 4 remakes announced? Are we going to get Diamond and Pearl remakes announced? No, we're not, ladies and gentlemen. It was far too early anyway. What we are getting announced, what we have been revealed, what we are definitely getting is an expansion pass, a downloadable content, if you will, for Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. Now, the expansion is actually split into two different parts. We have the Isle of Armor, which is being released in June 2020. And then, well, on the American one they said fall, on the English one they said autumn. It's the same thing, different words. We are getting the Crown Tundra, and they are going to be two new islands or areas. One's an island, one's just an area. Now, the price is a little bit steeper than I might like. They are retailing in the UK for £27 each. And yes, I did say each. You see, ladies and gentlemen, there are differences in the DLC depending on whether you're playing Sword or Shield, and you do need your own version of the expansion pass for Sword or for Shield. They're $30 in the US, I should add. And there are different Pokemon and different people and all of that, but it is slightly sad to me that I do need to go and buy both versions of them, and that they are £27 each. It's quite expensive, but clearly I'm going to buy both of them, as I'm sure are a bunch of you. Although do let me know your plans in the comment section. Now, one of the coolest things about these are like the wild area. That is to say, open, seamless areas where you can control the camera yourself, where you run into dens, and where you can meet up with other players. And they did actually tell us that there is going to be a part in the game, in this expansion, where you can play co-op. There is going to be a new co-op area where you can actually go and catch legendary Pokemon. That sounds like an awful lot of fun. Now, they did announce some new Pokemon, they did tease some new Pokemon that were not announced, and they did tell us a whole bunch of other stuff, so let's see if we can try and sort through the news. Now, they did say that there are more than 200 Pokemon in here, but I don't know whether they meant 200 returning, i.e. National Dex Pokemon that weren't in Sword and Shield, or they meant 200 new Pokemon / returning Pokemon. I don't think it was entirely clear. I would guess that means 200 more Pokemon returning, which means we're not at the National Dex yet, but we're getting closer and closer as time goes by. The other thing they did announce is that there is going to be a free update for Pokemon Sword and Shield, so anyone that doesn't have the DLC is going to be able to get these Pokemon. So if you don't have the DLC, you can't go into these new areas, but you can still have these Pokemon that aren't in Sword and Shield traded to you. And similarly, they did mention that Pokemon Home will allow you to get these Pokemon. So you can take a Pokemon from Pokemon Home and transfer it to a copy of Sword and Shield that doesn't have the DLC, even if it's a Pokemon that can only be got in the DLC. They did also mention that Pokemon Home is going to be launching in February 2020, which is not very far away at all at this stage. So to talk quickly about the DLC generally, this is instead of your Platinum, your Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, your Black and White 2. This is instead of a third version of the games. Now, to be perfectly clear, I like this. I would much rather have this. If you give me a choice, this would be my choice. Because one of my problems, I played through Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and the story is extremely similar in both of them. Like, extremely similar in both of them. And frankly, ladies and gentlemen, by the time I was on my 4th playthrough, there was an element of repetitiveness. No, it's probably not going to take you as long to play through this DLC as it would if it was a whole new 3rd game, but you know what? It is going to be all new. New Pokemon, new adventures, new story. I like that, ladies and gentlemen. I really do. I think this is a better way to do it. And needless to say, you do carry on from your original save. There are going to be new gyms and leaders. There are going to be new customization options. And there's going to be a whole bunch of fun stuff. So, the Isle of Armor then. The Isle of Armor is growth-themed, and there is going to be a dojo for Pokemon battles. You take an apprenticeship with Mustard as your mentor, the same person who mentored Leon, the Pokemon champion, and Mustard is apparently himself a former champion. But who you train with, who your rival is going to be, depends on which game you're playing. If you're playing through Pokemon Sword, your rival is going to be Clara, a Poison-type trainer. If you play through Pokemon Shield, your rival is going to be Avery, a Psychic-type trainer. How is Avery not a bird Pokemon or flying Pokemon trainer? Come on. Now, we do have a new legendary Pokemon that you're going to be given by Mustard in the Isle of Armor, and it is Kubfu. Kubfu is the Wushu Pokemon, a fighting Pokemon with the ability Inner Focus. It will appear in the Isle of Armor. This Pokemon is hard-working and strives to train both its body and mind. It uses each defeat as motivation, training itself with even more vigor after a loss in order to grow stronger. It has an organ, I kid you not, this is in the official press release. It has an organ that produces fighting energy in its lower abdomen, and therefore heading into battle, Kubfu will increase this energy through unique breathing techniques and intense focus. I promise you this is in the official press release. Wild Kubfu live in mountainous areas far away from the Galar region, but it was once a species that called Galar its home. It's noted in historical texts that this species used to head to uncharted lands with people as they set out to trade or explore. Record suggests that Kubfu living in faraway mountains today may have descended from Kubfu that became naturalized to the distant lands they visited in their journeys. But then when you evolve it, you can evolve it into Urshifu Single Strike, a fighting dark Pokemon, or Urshifu Rapid Strike, a fighting water Pokemon. And they both have the ability Unseen Fist, which is a brand new ability we've not seen before. According to the press release, Kubfu will evolve into Urshifu after it has undergone sufficient training. It seems that Urshifu has two forms, a single strike style and a rapid strike style, and it appears that each form has different types as well. Urshifu in single strike style form favour battling without holding anything back. When enraged, they will mercilessly attack an opponent until it is utterly defeated. A single strike style Urshifu's movements are often direct and involve rushing forward in a straight line. It will keep its distance from its opponents at first, only to leap in close instantly to deliver a powerful blow. Urshifu in rapid strike style form maintain a calm demeanour, observing their opponents and measuring their strength while dodging attacks. A rapid strike style Urshifu will use flowing movements in battle to smoothly parry an opponent's moves and then overwhelm the opponent with a flurry of rapid strikes. And they have different Gigantamax forms. Single strike style Urshifu and rapid strike style Urshifu also have Gigantamax forms. Gigantamax single strike style Urshifu, that's a bit of a tongue twister, ready to bellow in fury. People call it both the very embodiment of rage, what a title, and a divine emissary that banishes evil spirits from its fury. Not as fun. Gigantamax rapid strike style Urshifu will quietly maintain its stance with a calm expression. When facing this Pokemon, it seems some will become greatly agitated, feeling as if the very depths of their soul have been exposed, a little bit dramatic, yet others report feeling a sense of relief, as if they've been cleansed of evil spirits. Sounds like fun. What I find very, very interesting is that they talked explicitly in the Direct about taking it to official competitions, so it sounds like even though it's a special Pokemon given in the game, it is going to be legal for official competitions. Now, the Crown Tundra has a theme of exploration. It's all snowy, it's clearly based on Scotland, the upper bit of it. And you'll be leading an exploration team. Now, this is the one where they specifically mentioned the co-op mode, so the co-op mode may well only be in the Crown Tundra rather than the Isle of Armor. And there are going to be, once again, a new legendary, well, actually a few, but for the moment, a new legendary Pokemon. Calyrex, the king Pokemon, a psychic grass Pokemon with the ability Unnerve. Trainers will encounter Calyrex in the Crown Tundra. This Pokemon ruled all of Galar in ancient times. Though it appears delicate and slight, its every move is filled with grace and dignity. It also has extremely high intelligence, and it's said to see every past, present, and future event. So basically, it's Doctor Strange, the Pokemon. Now, we know a little bit less about this expansion. We were told a little bit less, but they showed off that there is a temple where you can get the Regis. Regice, Registeel, and Regirock. But they also showed off 2 new Pokemon that are clearly, obviously, you can tell from the dots, new Regis. How cool is that? It's interesting to me that Regigigas was not shown, as far as I'm aware, please correct me if I'm mistaken, but I don't believe they actually showed off Regigigas in the trailer, in the direct, so it will be interesting to see whether we actually get that one or not. And they also showed what we don't really know. They're either new legendary birds like the ones in Gen 1, or they are new forms of the legendary birds. They are clearly Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres. But they're not exactly as we remember them, so they could be new forms, or they could be new legendary birds based off the old ones. If you ask me, I'm talking new forms. That's my guess. And we were also shown new Gigantamax forms of the first partner Pokemon from Gen 8. Now this is really important, because there is an expansion of the trading card game coming out in Japan called VMAX Rising. And the booster pack has been shown off now, and it clearly shows Dynamax versions of those 3 Pokemon. And I thought it to be incredibly strange that they were already releasing an expansion that didn't have a Gigantamax or legendary Pokemon as the cover Pokemon. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's clearly a little bit of a ruse. You see, they've shown off Gigantamax, Rillaboom, Cinderace, and Inteleon. And not only have they shown them to us, but they've also given us a little bit of information. Now, it doesn't actually say whether you can Gigantamax these in Sword and Shield, or whether you need the DLC, but given that you can catch any Pokemon in the DLC, and then give it to a game without the DLC, seems like the answer's yes. So Gigantamax Rillaboom then. Rillaboom's tree stump drum has grown rapidly, to the point that it now resembles a small forest on its own. Gigantamax Rillaboom has merged with this forest of drums and become even more powerful. It can control its sticks as if they were its own limbs, and will demonstrate transcendental drumming techniques. Get me in your band. Gigantamax Rillaboom will focus completely on playing its drums, compelled by the power welling up inside it. The sound can reach across oceans and be heard by those living in other regions. It's said that those who hear the beat will begin to dance uncontrollably, overwhelmed by a rhythm that surges from inside them. Gigantamax Cinderace has been shown. The burning ball at Cinderace's feet has grown to massive proportions thanks to Gigantamax energy. If Gigantamax Cinderace kicks the ball using its well-honed techniques, its fighting spirit will possess the ball and cause the ball to pursue opponents as if it had a mind of its own. Once again, official press release. Gigantamax Cinderace boasts incredible leg strength. In fact, its legs are said to rank amongst the strongest of all Pokemon. Official press release. Even without its gigantic Pyro Ball, it can deliver powerful kicking moves that overwhelm other Dynamax Pokemon. And then finally, Gigantamax Inteleon. Inteleon has gained an extremely long tail thanks to Gigantamaxing. The tail's length is said to be over 130 feet. While Gigantamaxed, Inteleon will stretch its long tail out and hold it straight to form a pillar, and Inteleon will take a battle position at the top. This Pokemon has an incredibly sharp mind and calculates the precise effects that gravity will have on the trajectory of its shots, enabling it to be an extremely effective sniper. So, bullseye the Pokemon. Inteleon has many hidden tools within its body, and these have also been enhanced due to its Gigantamaxing. The nicitating membranes on its eyes not only allow it to measure the distance to the target, they now let Inteleon detect temperature, air pressure, and even humidity. Inteleon is a skilled sniper as well, easily hitting a berry that's rolling around over 9 miles away. But how would he do against a Womp Rat? Now, it wasn't just the new Gigantamax forms we've talked about here. There is also a new Galarian Pokemon, Galarian Slowpoke. There is an actual Galarian Slowpoke coming in, and here's the coolest thing. You can actually get Galarian Slowpoke today. If you head on over to Wedgehurst Station, you can actually go today and you will bump into one of those new trainers. If you're in Pokemon Sword, you'll see Clara. If you're in Pokemon Shield, you'll see Avery. And you get a Galarian Slowpoke. Whether you've bought the DLC or not, you get it. Now, it doesn't evolve yet. It evolves based on items in Sword and Shield. Yes, obviously the DLC, and one in one game, one in the other. But you can get yourself Galarian Slowpoke today, and that is pretty cool. They did not show us any images of Galarian Slowbro or Galarian Slowking, though they did confirm the existence of both of them. So what do we know about Galarian Slowpoke? Well, the ability is Gluttony or Own Tempo, and it's a psychic type. And the Slowpoke of the Galar region used to eat the seeds of a certain plant that grew in their habitat. These seeds were in fact the Galarica seeds, used to this day as an essential spice for cooking in the Galar region. The Slowpoke and Galar built up particles of this spice in their bodies over several generations, eventually gaining the unique appearance and behaviour they are known for today. Galarian Slowpoke spend their days wallowing on seashores and riverbanks without thinking about anything in particular. Occasionally they might get a very sharp look in their eyes, but they will soon revert to their zoned out expression. It's thought that this behaviour is caused by the accumulated Galarica particles simulating Galarian Slowpoke's brain, resulting in it thinking of something tremendous, only for the Galarian Slowpoke to immediately forget what it had just thought of. Galarian Slowpoke can evolve into Galarian Slowbro if an item that can be found on the Isle of Armor is used. It can evolve into Galarian Slowking if an item found on the Crown of Tundra is used. My apologies, it's not one in one game, one in the other. It's one in one DLC expansion, one in the other. Apologies for that one. Now, we are given a little bit of information about the new characters. A man named Mustard will appear on the Isle of Armor and will be responsible for the player's training. He's a legendary trainer who held the seat of champion for an astounding 18 years. Back before Dynamaxing was incorporated into the battles of the Pokemon League, his record is yet to be beaten. In fact, Champion Leon himself trained under Mustard, and Mustard was the first one to recognise Leon's latent talent. Now, I've mentioned Clara and Avery a couple of times in this video. We are given an official description of them. They're skilled trainers of Poison-type Pokemon and Psychic-type Pokemon respectively, and they're training hard so that they can someday set up a gym and stadium for their own. Trainers will face a different rival depending on which game they're playing. Clara specialises in Poison-type Pokemon and is training hard at Mustard's dojo. She'll do just about anything to appear adorable and cute, as popularity is what she admires most of all. She goes about her days with a smile on her face, but hiding behind it is a calculating nature that she puts to very good use. Avery is one of the trainers who strive to become stronger at Mustard's dojo, and he is a proficient user of Psychic-type Pokemon. He is gentlemanly and well-mannered, but also very proud. Man, one of that sounds a lot more interesting than the other. Oh yeah, and we're also getting Gigantamax versions of Venusaur and Blastoise. They were shown in the trailer. Yes, we know we've got a Gigantamax Charizard. Well, now we're getting Venusaur and Blastoise as well. They're going to be coming along in the DLC expansions. That sounds like so much fun. Bring me the Blastoise! And just as I'm finishing recording this, there has been confirmation of a couple of groups of Pokemon which are going to be in these games that weren't before. You can see here that we've got Kingdra, Lycanroc, Volcarona, Zorua, Dedenne, Azurill, Magnezone and Chansey. You can imagine, you can expect all of the evolutions pre and post from these Pokemon to appear as well. And we also see ourselves a Nidorino, a Beldum, an Aurorus, Cryogonal, Garchomp, Elekid, Crobat, and Celio. Nice. So yeah, those Pokemon are now confirmed to soon be in the Pokemon video games in Sword and Shield. They're not there yet, but they will be when the DLC comes along. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's the news. There's a lot of news, ladies and gentlemen. There is an awful lot of news, but hopefully I've shown you through it quite nicely. As always, I want to know what you think about this. I want to know if you're happy. I want to know if you're sad. I want you to know all of your thoughts about this. Come on. Let me know in the comment section. Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where we talk about a whole bunch of games that don't have Pokemon in, but are still awesome. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.